The power plant is embedded in the minds, the history, the culture of the residents of Vero Beach. And to retain it, even though we're transforming its use, actually helps create that sense of memory and sense of collective shared experience that will actually become part of the new developed experience. This project matters because it's currently a publicly owned piece of land that is publicly inaccessible. To me, the big idea here was to create a place that was special and unique to Vero Beach, one that was special for the community.
One of the biggest ideas we had really from day one is how do you engage and give back the waterfront? It was ambitious and audacious to propose what we did.
We have a very powerful grand promenade that starts on the west land side, moves through the building through a 4-story space, and goes all the way out to the marina to the end of the dock.
The notion that the programs that engage the water are really for everybody, right? It's art, it's food, and it's access to the water.
We were fully committed to redesigning the decommissioned power plant and give that back to the community, no longer as something that divides the city, but something that unites it. So we realized that while redesigning a master plan, right, sort of a lifestyle on the water, you want to cater for everybody in the community, young, old, groups, individuals, grandparents with grandchildren, people alone. You want to keep people in the site for as long as you can, throughout the day, throughout the year.
Because it's mixed uses, you talk about 2 or 3 uses, and this is upwards of 5 or 6.
So we staged it with several activities like the boutique grocer that people would come to at a daily basis to just pick up some food on the way home. It's the hotels that activate the site 24/7. The event center that definitely will do that in the weekends, in the evenings. The fishing pier that allows people in during the day to just spend some time close up by the lagoon. It's the marina that keeps on coming and going throughout the day. It's the skate park, but also like a natural play park for children. And then as for the unity that we designed in it with the architecture, we tied it back to Floridian tropical architecture. So each has their distinct feel to it, but they're all feel Floridian and iconic.
This boulevard that really goes right through the middle of the Big Blue power plant lets people walk right through the middle of it and get out to the marina, and it really culminates with kind of the most humble program, right? This little tiki bar at the end of the promenade, and that's by design.
You could be in the site for a very long time if you wanted to, or you could just be there for a brief period of time reading your book. So it caters to all of us, and it's important because it really is a place for the community.
Our job as architects is to look for opportunity in something that others might not see value in. Very early in this process, we went and toured it. And you get inside that building and there are just these incredible spaces that are inside that project that would be very, very difficult to recreate now. That's the whole point of restoration and preservation is, if it exists, why get rid of it? Like, why would you aspire to not give it a second life? And I got Tim Gaddis on a FaceTime call because I was so excited. I'm like, I'm gonna walk you, and I held the phone, I walked him around the power plant on FaceTime just to get him thinking about it.
Big Blue is a really unique piece of architecture. It's not beautiful in terms of its skin. It doesn't come from the Industrial Revolution. It doesn't come from a Beaux-Arts era. It's very utilitarian, but to that end, it also has some very unique spaces that you would never build for yourself these days. A huge generator hall with a bridge crane that moves through it. We're gonna put some glowing fluorescent jellyfish on that bridge crane and move it through the space. The smokestacks on Big Blue are over 200 feet tall and they can be seen 4 miles. You would look at them and think of a ship, maybe, the 3 masts on a ship. And given that Vero Beach exists on the Treasure Coast, this notion that there were all these Spanish galleons that were shipping treasures, gold coins and whatnot, and sank just off of the coast there, we can now reference that iconography through our LED mesh sails that we're going to add on to the smokestack.
It's an iconic piece, even though it's not publicly accessible at the moment. It has stood there and it's an identifier factor on that corner of the 3 corners. The interior is just the most amazing structure, so we really wanted to play that to our advantage, but then to open it up for people to actually see through and engage with the space. So at night it can glow and the light can come out and people are really attracted into the site. For the community, it's important that basically a beacon of a site that didn't used to be publicly accessible now becomes the gateway into the property.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old power plant, right? So it's full of stuff. All of the existing infrastructure on half of the building remains intact. It's like they just shut it off and walked away. And so there's going to be a lot of work to be done to keep what we want to keep, but then clean out and clear what we don't want to keep. But I think it's worth it when you see what the end result can be. So yeah, it's not easy, but often great design isn't, right?
We know Florida is a very fragile ecosystem. It's right in the path of Hurricane Alley. It gets a lot of high winds, rising seas, storm surges.
The mainly we're looking at is to raise most of the site up to the same height or close by height of Big Blue, because it's quite higher than the actual waterfront area. So therefore you're out of the floodplain. Then we put all the generators and all the things to fuel the buildings higher up on the roofs to make sure that even in an event of higher floods and hurricanes, they won't be flooded. And you could still use quite a few of the floors for the hotels, for instance, as a refuge center for the community that can't reach their home anymore. In addition, we have detention basins and retention basins below the park to filter through the water in a slower fashion back to the lagoon. We also put a living seawall around the edge of the site, which means that it allows for growth of algae and other marine life that really makes the lagoon and the mangroves a healthier area for the manatees to swim in.
They're actually 3D printed concrete that will actually create more live areas for organisms to attach to and grow in, so that you don't have a sheer face of concrete or a sheer face of some other material that doesn't promote growth like you would normally find. So it's a very new technology. People will be watching us as we continue to implement it. And I think it will be one of the largest implementations of living seawall in Florida.
We've had several projects in the Florida market that have shown that approach to being resilient and thoughtful isn't just an idea, it's proven out. Right? Our buildings stand up better, they hold up, they understand how to be back online as soon as they can. We're going to bring all that knowledge to bear as we go forward onto this project. As then the project came back in its second iteration, we had all the benefit of the feedback of the round one submission, which was community discussions, articles written by people in the public, conversations with the city. And we walked into the second round with basically the attitude of we listened. And we really took all those community comments into account. And frankly, the design got better for it.
I'm actually most proud of the arrival moment towards Big Blue, the plaza that we created in front. It's something that we didn't have in the original round scheme when it was unfortunately blocked by a parking garage. We took away the more expensive, quite a high budget price item, the water around the event center that we had dug in. The idea was bringing Big Blue closer to the water, but once we took it out, we could actually enlarge the circular green park in the middle, creating a real heart that didn't feel like one side and the other. It really became one.
The opportunity presents to show how, when done right, you can really get the needs of development, the needs of rehabilitation, the needs of community to come together. And that's a role I think architects can play, is the opportunity to listen to all of those different voices and really try and come up with solutions that make sense for everybody.
This project shows that great design can overcome political and administrative challenges. If we design something that people can fall in love with, they'll find a way to build it.